welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but them views, they are amazing.
It's a 13 for y'all. 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 It's a 13 for y'all.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I'm your moderator, B. Jones here in the light. I got my dog Frisco Freezy down bottom. What's happening, sir?
You know, we are in the building, living life how we do, fresh-vated, motivated, invigorated. You feel me?
Ready to do the damn thing. There it is. BJ, what's happening?
Right on time. Just had to rename because I forgot doing some work things and personal things. I forgot to rename myself for the rebranding.
And Coach K, what's happening, man? With the Colgate smile.
Yeah, I had to check my name. I'm like, man, what name do I have up there? Listen, man, I'm excited, man. Episode 198. We got two more. 200 episodes. Are we gonna
Pretty
make
amazing.
each one of them?
200.
We're gonna make each one of them count on our way to 200.
Shout out to Mike. I see the shirt action going on.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike D. I can show
We can
them.
get a full shot of that shirt, Carol. What you think?
Nah, I think we need to stay with the
We're
PG
not
version.
gonna get the full shot right now.
The PG version of the shirt.
Oh, man. That old man going along highway. Shout out Mike D, man.
Yes,
And
yes.
For those of you that don't, your mind is going. I promise you, it's not a cutoff shirt or anything like that. It's not,
He's taking it back to the 90s.
It's
Right,
like
it's got more graphic
right
on
below
the
his chest.
so-
All he needs is his football pads and his helmet. He's ready to go, ladies and
And
gentlemen.
some
He's
cut
got
off
an E. He's got an
sweatpants
innie.
too.
Man, speaking of football, BJ, your kids playing football this year?
Not as of now, no. Cam brought it up. He wanted to do some kid neighborhood is part of the Western Optimist or whatever it is. It's still flag football, but at a higher level. But again, the commitment right now to do that 4 nights a week and then games on Saturdays right now, we can't commit to. And I'm trying to get him to understand that part of the things that he committed to when we got into Taekwondo and the karate was that that was the thing 2 years ago now that we were going to see. He wanted to see it through black belt. And by the end of the year, they should be almost there. And then we can reevaluate stuff. But that was a commitment he made to do that and to take Taekwondo off the table right now is like a non-negotiable. See that through. So we're considering the Saturday league again, but he hasn't decided that's what he wants to do yet or wait for the 8th grade since he'll be eligible to play for the school team this year at a higher level. So.
Got you. Yeah, man, I didn't realize football was so expensive. Kellen playing this year, and they put on pads, and we got to get his equipment and stuff. And I don't remember, like when I played, the equipment was given to us, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't in any kind of good, great condition. But it was the hand-me-down stuff. You made it work. And the city or the team he plays for, like, they have like 3 different jerseys, like nice joints. They had a breast cancer jersey. Never would I have thought that. They got rings for winning the championship last year. So I'm thinking, okay, all of that stuff is covered. His mom hit me and said, oh yeah, we gotta get helmet, pads and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. Just, give me the size and I'll price some stuff out. The helmet alone for a decent one, I ain't talking about top of the line, $150. That he might wear for 2 years. I'm like,
depending on his growth spurt.
Crazy.
Basketball, baseball, track.
But you know what?
Baseball, track, thank you.
And
But you know what?
that's not even one of those traveling teams, yo. So think about those teams that travel. Like I get it, but like the commitment has to really be there for me to get behind that. I applaud the parents that are doing that. A cousin of mine just had her son basketball. They were they're in Columbus, Ohio. They were just down in Tennessee for like 3 or 4 days playing the tournament. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's hotels, that's food, that's the jersey, that's equipment, that's all
Hey,
that stuff.
shout out Eric, cause Eric take my nephew all the time. They travel all up and down and all over. That I'm just like, it's a commitment, brother. It is a real commitment.
So, it's funny that you said that, Brett, because I remember the only thing I had to buy was cleats
Right.
in
And I
high
thought I
school.
was doing good.
But here's what it is, though, and it's very smart if you think about it. With all the attention to concussions and everything, now if I make the parent go buy their own equipment, you can't say, oh, well, the school had this faulty equipment. Now my child has XYZ or is going through whatever traumatic disorder.
Very
So
true.
it kind of removes some of that liability from the school of, well, we didn't provide that equipment. You bought that equipment.
Exactly. And then when you on the website trying to buy the equipment, every page you go to is a pop-up. Helmets do not stop concussions. And then this whole diatribe of information, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh yeah,
That's
they
like
serious.
the tobacco warning on cigarettes now. Like they are now
So here's what I
Yeah.
want to know though. How, if you're on the same team, how are you getting the same, how's your helmet look the same?
So they
And so
have, if I'm not mistaken, they give you like here's the style, and here are the distributors that distribute that make that style. So if you're on a team where the coach or the mom, I'm gonna say it that way, the moms are promoting this style they want, then that 150 is gonna turn into 250, 300. Because
so
this is the logo, this is the style, this is the brand that we want to go with.
this is what we're doing. Yep, this is what we're doing.
So I ain't get that deep into it yet. That's a good question I should ask though, because I was looking at, I'm like, well, they got black helmets, but it's 3 different blacks on the website. So if I mess around and get the wrong black, he definitely gonna
Yep,
stand out.
you gonna have my dog. Yep.
So
You need to get that, yeah, get that info.
we'll see how it goes. I know he's definitely committed. We'll see if he stay committed after this year and that first hit. But still, it's an exciting exciting time.
That's always the difference maker, right? Everything's all
I
fun
don't
and
want to play
games
no
until you
more.
take that first. You just like, oh well, wait. I like basketball, Dad. Like, I mean, basketball is cool. I'll be shooting, no contact.
To make contact, I'm hitting the foul line, baby. Let's go.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's the difference maker. That's facts.
Yeah, man. So I want to follow up a conversation we had a couple weeks ago. Carol brought it to my attention, the term that we'll probably end up using, the ripple effect. But the onset from not following my gut. So we talked about the accident and everything and all of that situation. And now we like 2 weeks removed, and this got to be like one of the most inconvenient things that could have happened to me, because now I got physical therapy appointments I got to make on top of trying to find another car in this market, which I didn't even realize was as bad as it was, because I didn't have to worry about these things beforehand, right? Because when we totaled the RAV4, the lot that I got this pilot from, they had like 6 others just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? So it was pickings. Like, you just get whatever you want. I walked CarMax lot the other day and was like, what in the hell is going on out here? Like, it was nothing. Even the car that I'm looking at potentially getting, it's got to come from New Jersey. And then adding that inconvenience into everything else that we just have like going on in everyday life, it's like, yo, I believe in being abundant and, gracious for everything we have. But it got to the point today where I was just like, man, I just need to have some normalcy, some regular, like, not this, that, the third, going from A to C to D to Z back to A in a 36-hour time span. You know what I'm saying? Just feeling like it's just so much going on. I need a break or what have you.
So that's a very interesting situation that you're going through, right? And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are listening, not sure what we're talking about, go back to episode 196 and check that out. That's what we were talking about, following your gut. But what happens is you have this one moment and you choose not to go with your gut, and then something happens as a result, and you realize, oh, if I would have went with my gut, this wouldn't have happened. Now, some people simplify it, think that's just that moment, but it's not, because what you're going through right now is the ripple effect based on not going with your gut. Now there's another sequence of events that are going to trigger, right, that are going to make you now say, oh man, if I would have only, and I think that's the part that comes in and just saps our energy and just makes us feel like, man, why? Because you go back and you analyze it over and over. And unfortunately, look, there was a lesson to be learned there, right? And I don't know what the lesson was. And everybody, it happens to everybody. And if you don't go back and catch the lesson, chances are you're going to end up in the same situation again down the road, right? Where it may not be an accident, but it may come in a different form, and it causes you, who knows, it could be, weeks, months, years of that ripple effect that are all you now trying to get out of this so that you can receive the lesson. Unfortunately, some of us don't receive the lesson.
See, part of that thing is that ripple effect, it comes down to resources, right? And resources is what? Time, money, human capital, whatever the case may be. That's what I walk away with, that ripple effect. The resources are what I have to put into it or what I'm losing because of it after the fact, right?
Time, money, and energy.
So like when I play it out, it's like all those different things are byproducts of the decision. Again, some people wrap it up as consequences. Some people call it up as blessings, because it could come in either form, right? Based on the decision you make. The blessing could be that car, something may have been a car because of insurance, you'd be able to get something newer, still something that's more economical, blessing in the long run. But the short term right now is that, like you said, the market is horrible. We went through that when we were, again, I think I mentioned on that episode, we traded in our pilot. We actually traded in our pilot, went back to our Odyssey in the attempt that we're going to be traveling more and the kids are bigger. We need something with more space. For us, the Odyssey just made sense, with leg room, with storage room, and packing things up. But bro, when I tell you, looking at stuff online, what's available, is like, do you settle for this thing that's 2 years old? But this thing that's 2 years old, but it has 60,000 miles on it already. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Or something that's out of the price range just because it's newer, and you just got to deal with it and move on it, because things are moving. People are buying stuff online without even test driving it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, it's crazy. Like, by the time we got there in the afternoons, a couple things were gone already.
Yeah, it's just like the housing market. It's the same. They see a car, and because it's low inventory, it's gone. But let's talk about how we get here, right? Because a lot of times we go against our gut because there's something that's undesirable on the other end of that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I decide, you know what, I don't want to make this stop, well, now I got to get into an argument possibly about why I don't want to make this stop, why I think we should just go home, or it's undesirable because we feel like we're going to disappoint somebody, and somebody was really looking forward to whatever's attached to that decision. But then you make that decision and something happens, and now, boom, that person that was going to be disappointed if you didn't see them, they're not more than likely the first person jumping up to say, you know what, let me throw some money towards this for you, or let me help you do whatever, right? I know you're going through some hardship right now. Let me jump up and help you get through that, right? And we're using your situation as the example, but it happens in many other ways all the time. And that's where, if you go to podcast 197, we go from following your gut to somewhat prioritizing yourself so that you don't end up in these situations and you don't have to be caught in the ripple effect. Because look, you don't know, as I said, how long is the ripple effect going to last? And how long is it going to take you to get back to baseline so that you can now improve from the position that you were?
And I think that's very important. My situation as an example, it got so bad when I'm looking for cars. Like I'm even considering things that I would never consider, like a Mazda, a CX-9, or a Chevy like Traverse or something like that, just because, you know, you feel a little bit of pressure. You know, you got the insurance company on your back, like, oh, you can only have this rental car for free for a certain amount of time. The inconvenience of having one car and trying to get A to B or whatever, and you got the baby, got to get doctor appointments and stuff. And so after I had the moment earlier, and then hearing, listening and talking with you guys, what I don't want to have happen is that these external factors, these pressures or whatever, start pushing me into making another decision that I really don't want to make or that I really wouldn't make before. And then, you know, so after, you know, looking at these cars and it's like, you know what? No, Pilot is what I need. I'm either gonna get this one from New Jersey or I'm gonna find one somewhere else, but I'm not gonna sacrifice just for the sake of, you know, okay, we need some wheels, because, you know, such is life, man. We're gonna figure it out and we'll be able to get wherever we need to get because we got enough resources within the general vicinity to make some stuff happen. So there's no need to put myself in a worse situation for the sake of temporary convenience.
And
But
that's,
that gut decision, man. That gut decision.
but it's also the that's what you have to settle in, is the knowing and understanding that it was made for you to get through it, and that exactly that don't allow those outside pressures to sway you from your gut decision, from your focus. You know what you need, and regardless of what has put you into the situation of what you have to get, you still know what you need, and being able to focus and understand and keep that center, that's the way to be.
So I want to tie this back to on what Kay was just saying a little while ago. I don't even know what episode it was, but it was a long time ago. And since then, we've heard it in other places. But we go the happy spouse, happy house route, right? It ties to the same conversation. But, and I may need help tying this back together because this can go down many, many roads later on. But when I'm thinking about this, it really was thinking about that time about sticking with your gut and not doing things and just going against the grain to just save an argument, whatever. But when it comes down to your peace, going with your gut and sticking to what you know you should do, sometimes you being the happy spouse is worth it in the end. And I know a lot of times we don't do that, and that's what came up in the last conversation about it was 196 about it. Like sometimes we go against that just to say, okay, for the sake of argument. But at the end of the day, what I found is really that, okay, you know what you need to be at peace. And when you go against that grain, that's the same type of not following your gut. So in many different situations, we have to learn that sometimes I don't want to put argument and fight as the word, but being in disagreement and being okay with being in disagreement is the better route.
I think here's the difference, right? Because some people will take what you just said and they'll be like, oh, 13th floor, they said, being in disagreements, you know, sometimes you got to.
Yeah, that's what I say. I may need help cleaning this up because I want to make sure that we don't jump off the wrong building here.
No. We don't want to lead people astray. But I think the key piece is intent, right? Mm-hmm. Are you doing it out of a selfish place or out of a vengeful place or out of a antagonizing place, right? Then it doesn't make sense. Like that's not good, right? But if your intention is preserving your personal peace and not doing so in a way that's going to disrupt the other person and intentionally put them in a bad spot, then that's perfectly okay.
Prime example. So I'll do an in-home example where even I should have pushed harder for the aspect, but I'll paint the big picture here. It was still during before everybody was really getting vaccinated, and family, but some family members were, and people were starting to go back in like family pods and things like that. There was an event coming up. What's up, Asher?
Zoom bomb. There you go, Ashley.
We see Asher as a 5-year-old, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm adding.
Hey man, Ashley, you've been on the 13th floor for a long time, brother. You don't even know
Facts. Since he was sitting in laps.
We got a party, man. But like I was saying, so people were starting to get back together. It was like there was an event coming up, and it was a family get together. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like I can't see it happening. But the pressure was coming from family members for my wife and the kids to show up, and I'm like, that's not the best thing. But if you go, y'all need to still stay protected. Well, get there. I don't go. I decided to go. So, that was already like, why aren't you going? You're not going to go. It's not about me not wanting to support, not to celebrate. It's just like, I'm not comfortable with this situation right now. Lo and behold, Gina and the kids were the only ones there that end up having masks on, period. And the next day, oh, by the way, 3 people tested positive for COVID. So now my whole house.
That's crazy because
now
you
my
got
whole house is sitting here like even I didn't go, but now because they came back home, and this was still
right.
pre-vaccination, like everybody's sitting here at like okay, what the heck going on now? We got to call everybody we may have been in contact with in that 24-hour period, because that in that 24-hour period, did we come in contact with anybody, or did the kids go outside to talk to a neighbor real quick, whatever? So now we're throwing people into panic, like the ripple effect of that. Like I really should, and I kicked myself, like I should have just said like, no, you're not going. And I know that was not in an authoritative stance, but my gut was telling me like that situation is probably not the best thing to go put everybody in the place of right there. I know it's trivial, but it's something real that I can go back to that afterwards, again, I still didn't go, but I was still affected by it.
I mean, there it is, right? Something simple could have had some really complex ripples, right, for you and your family, all because we want to disappoint other family members. Okay, let's figure out how we can make this happen. And people do it all the time. People do it at work. You know what? I need to leave at 5 o'clock. Nah, I need you to stay and do this. So you stay and do that, and then something happens in your house. Now there's a ripple effect that, guess what? Your job is now sweating you about the time you need to take to deal with whatever the consequence was or the ripple that happened at your home. Right? Oh, no, you don't have any time off. You don't have any more sick days. Right? Whereas if you would have went home at 5 o'clock, that wouldn't have happened, and you would have been able to go to work the next day and do whatever it was that needed to be done. But we're set up in such a way that people take advantage of making you second guess yourself and making you feel like, hey, you're obligated to do this, you're obligated to do that. And at some point, we just got to say no. That's not what we're gonna do.
Yeah, you got to be obligated to yourself and your peace. You know what I'm saying, and not in a negatively selfish way, but just knowing what's best for you. But you got to also take time to understand what that is. And sometimes it boils down to like communication, and that's something that I've been trying to work on a lot of bit lately, and how we communicate some of those things. But putting it out there is the first step. And sometimes you don't think it's such a big deal until it becomes a big deal. So, I don't think we couldn't play with the COVID thing in my household, because for a long time we was like anti-vaccination. So that's a little bit different sauce, especially dealing with, somebody that has one of those underlying conditions that could have been majorly affected. One of the main reasons we ain't see my, some family members for like over a year. But when it's, one stop here, or, this outfit there, or something, something that you think is trivial, that ends up snowballing. Like, you don't really expect that. But I think it's picking and choosing your battles, and then when it comes to the spouse situation, definitely figuring out the proper way to communicate and put the foot down. Just touch it lightly.
I think it was on that same Trust Your Gut podcast was submitting to the person that's better suited to make a particular decision. I think we talked
Yep.
about it in that same one, right?
It was.
Yes.
And being
yes.
okay with that.
Yes.
And
Yep.
being okay with that. Understanding that, hey, you know what? This is your call. Good. I'm with it. This is my turn to follow.
It's the understanding that especially if you're in a relationship, you're in a team, and any great team in history in any sport, people play their roles. They understand what who's good at what, who does what, when, and all of that. If you apply those same things, that's how you get success. It just creates a more understanding opportunity for growth, and it's a give and take, right? Because it takes a lot for us to be able to have that surrendering in a sense, in that letting go and being like, yo, you know what, I do suck at math, I need to let her do the finances, I do need to go ahead and let that be what's going on, but she need to let me go ahead and grill. She know I do this.
Absolutely, man. You gotta go be like Giannis, man. Stop shooting threes and go to the bucket, get 50 and get a ring, man. Let's go.
Hey, 50 nugget, no 49.
Yeah, if Ian, you hadn't dropped that in the thing last night, I would have never known. Like, I have no idea what was going on with the finals. So yeah, thanks for the update. I
Went
can
to sleep in the third quarter. I was like, I know Phoenix is gonna come back. It's gonna be a game 7.
It was ironically the only game that I watched like at all, pretty much
Really?
the playoffs. Yeah,
Wow.
like I've seen spats here and there. I actually
Hey,
I was trying to
I'm gonna follow my gut and not let y'all talk about this 2-week-old NBA championship.
I was just going to talk about the fact that I was trying to attempt to watch the games, but they come on so late that I literally watched one. I started in the first quarter. I went to sleep within 2 minutes, and I woke up for the last 2 minutes of that same game. And I was just like, all
That's
right,
all that's important. First to the last two.
hey,
How it starts and how it finishes.
I don't know about that, man. It's a lot of fun stuff that goes on in the middle.
I will say this new NBA is pretty exciting. There are they're stacked with a lot of players.
Yeah.
Earl, are we good to cut the NBA, or can we talk about that a little bit more? You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
I'm just kidding, man.
I mean, we can talk about that part. I like that part because I'm gonna relate that back to LeBron. I mean, LeBron forced the league's hand, right? Everybody had to up their game, up their talent in order to be competitive. Nobody's gonna give him that credit though. If you're gonna blame him for
Well,
creating super teams, and you got
it's
to blame
it's
him
it's
for upping the
super
talent.
it's super
LeBron did
ironic
that?
considering the fact that Giannis didn't do that. He didn't create no super team. He got it.
And he
But
didn't.
even just
But
but even the level of the regular role player has been elevated.
well, I think that's interesting. I don't know if I could blame LeBron on that. I mean, you still got dudes like Luca and
I don't blame
Oh, I'm not
LeBron.
giving
I
blame.
blame the product
It's not
of,
blame.
there are
I'm like, hey, thanks, LeBron.
6-year-olds who can
Appreciate you.
dribble with both
well, that's
hands.
what I mean. I don't know if I can attribute the growth of the league to him, especially given the way talent and free agency has kind of happened. I think
But
for one, these athletes.
who drove that though? Who opened up the door for the way free agency is?
You talking about like them 2-year contracts folks be signing, or
Mhm.
getting 3 to
Yep.
win? Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce.
Okay, that's cool. I'm good with that.
Oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, I think the new NBA is going to be very exciting. I think the injuries in the playoffs kind of propelled some to seats, but even still, it was very, very exciting to watch it. And now we into the dog days of summer. But we do got the Olympics though. They still having that, right?
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I'm about to say,
Opening would have been last Friday with this podcast.
um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting because all I'm seeing is COVID cases popping up in everybody's camp here, there, left, right.
And COVID cases are going up in Tokyo.
And they, I
Delta
mean,
ain't
there's not
playing.
even going to be no audiences or nothing. It's going to be very interesting to watch with just the athletes and coaches and I guess
They're just going to do
judges.
like the soccer games. They're just going to pump noise in there. And if you weren't watching the TV, you would think that there were people there. It's not the
I
same for the
seen,
athletes, but
yeah,
Cameras just focus on the field. It's just noise in the
yeah,
background.
yeah, right.
Mm. Yeah, man. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this thing, man. Fresh, I forgot to get you in at the beginning, so we're gonna throw you in right now. We need that positivity to get the week, keep the week going. So we're going to you for the fresh ovation, and then BJ, you're gonna stand in for Art's Corner, and Coach K gonna take us all the way home.
There it is. Fresh Ovation this week. Go and see your friends from yesteryear. Take the opportunity. You never know when you can find yourself a cheap ticket. Go fly out. Go kick it with your old people. Get a reinvigoration of your old self at least once a year. Make sure to make that happen. I had the opportunity to go and check my homeboy Jay Knight from college. And it's just always good to get back into recenter yourself into what you was and all the positive things of yesteryear. So that's it, man. My fresh ovation this week is for you to get off your butt, go check Spirit. And I'm gonna tell you the G thing that I did, right? I found me a Spirit ticket that was $100, right? But that was the motivation to go. It wasn't gonna be a long trip, and so with Spirit, you already know it's gonna be a pretty sweet situation, right? So what did I do though? I mailed a box to him with the stuff that I needed. And so literally I was on Spirit with just a little backpack, boom, in and out the airport, busted in and out, no worries, no hassle, no how. You know what I mean? But overall, fresh ovation this week. Go out, see your people, go reconnect, get yourself right, make it happen.
you know what, man? Let
Two
me add
things
to
for
that.
that one.
Let me add
Go
to
ahead,
that,
Kay.
man. I've been seeing more people like just start taking day trips, like fly someplace early in the morning and fly back home late in the evening just because it was a cheap flight. Go out, see a couple things, someplace you've never been, or see somebody that you know, and then go back home. And I'm like, wow, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you have to, life is about experience, and you don't realize how much it is about that until you start experiencing more. And by experience, it doesn't mean that it has to be some extravagant, crazy, expensive trip. Just the idea of getting places, getting able to see uh in DC, I mean, the amount of history that Jay Knight was able to just drive around telling us about all the different things. And I mean, he's a history buff, but just the ability to go out in nature, see what's going on, appreciate what you have going on in your city, close cities, far cities, whatever it is. It's all very valuable, not just to your life. Get your kids out there, get your spouse out there. It's growth. Experience is growth, and growth is fresh
Now,
ovation.
just know if you do it with Spirit,
You need to be
your day trip
5'9" or
might
less.
be in a 2-3 day trip.
Yeah, that's a yo.
don't
That's
don't have
like I said, it
to
was $100.
don't book that flight thinking you're gonna make it to work on time.
If
Yeah, I'm
you
about
take
to
the
say
first
it
one,
definitely was.
Well, the morning flight maybe if it's a morning flight back, you may be good.
I
Maybe.
did not have too many issues. It actually wasn't bad at all. But again, I strategized properly. I also
yeah.
have been working very hard to keep it centered, and so I have no issues with making sure I don't get razzle dazzled with the shitty service that they provide. I already knew what I was getting into, so I made sure I had music, videos, and everything else I needed, snacks, goodies, whatever it may be, on deck, and went in and woosah. I definitely felt the remembrance of, oh snap, these seats don't go back. That is right. But again, we are here.
Oh,
Straightforward out.
absolutely.
We got no
Yes.
snacks, no peanuts, no nothing.
Oh yeah, nah, they barely look.
We got
I'm
these.
not even sure the stewardess. They don't think they even walked down the aisles. It's like everything just happened from sitting over there. They are asking people, hey, you'll close the back things over there. Hey, 17, close the top thing. All right.
Hey goes,
Yeah, I will say that.
hey goes some mints we picked up at Costco.
Right.
Exactly. Pass them to the back. Pass them to the back.
Yeah, I will say that I did the same thing when I was well, going back to Mississippi and Tennessee. I got to hang out in Memphis for a little bit with my dog Twan, man, and it's very refreshing because it's slower. You know what I'm saying? We got to get on an actual grill with charcoal. I ain't have to use a gas, outdoor oven, and just kick it, for a few hours and enjoy that. So yeah, definitely need it. Got to get out there.
Yo.
DJ,
We got it.
your
And
corner today, buddy.
my biggest thing is alignment. So right when you said that, my first thing that popped in my mind is alignment right with Fresh just started and K just jumped in as well. Because like I guess I say y'all have really motivated me lately because I've just seen like brothers just picking up and going places. Like for me, like yeah, I mean I'm a homebody. I love being at home. Like I don't like you talk about a week vacation for me, I'm like I could take a week and stay home, take 2 days and go visit people and come back home and I'm good. But the idea of not setting that mindset with my kids has kind of fallen in the last couple of weeks. So really it's just thinking about making the most of the moments, but also don't let that job is going to be there. The task you got is going to be there when you get back. So enjoy the moments, enjoy the kids, because again, the twins are starting 8th grade this year and Mason starting 10th grade. Like I can't believe I'm saying that. Like seriously, like time has flown. And I look back at like this last year and a half, we've been in the house and we've had fun and we've done stuff locally, but it's really time to start getting them back out and do stuff. Starting a new job this year, I've really been grinding away, and not taking that personal time. Like this summer's gone. So we're gonna pack up and go to Universal and like at the end of next week just to get out real quick. But again, really when we look back, I'm looking for those day flights. I'm looking for those day trips just to go do stuff. Let's camp out the weekend. Let's go do stuff, something we haven't done in a while. Just give them those experiences, make sure we're not limiting their thought or passing on my likeness. I just like being in the house onto
That's
them
the thing.
and making
Yeah.
it that don't give them the experience of trying new things just because I'm comfortable in the house. So I'm putting myself out there and hold me accountable to that, please.
Yeah, you have
So
to, especially as parents. I encourage all parents to make sure that you do not pass along your what you're scared of or what you're comfortable with, or you know what I mean. Make sure you give your children the opportunity to be whatever they want to be and are going to be, and not to create just a little mini version of yourself that
Say Madison's the one who motivated me the most because she found her way into any and everything. Gina had to go to Ohio for work. She found herself, she she was on a ticket, getting a ticket there. I'll stay in the hotel. She'll call my people to come get her and take her out places. Like she'll
Resourceful
work
in
it
there.
out. And she made it happen. She was in Ohio. She went to Ohio for Virginia League. She was off at Kings Island. She was off at the mall. She was off at this. She was staying in a hotel for like an hour or two before somebody came and got her and picked her across town to take her back across town. Like that's the type like, okay, I need to make sure I'm not fostering my love for just being in the house and make sure that's not just reciprocated just because daddy did it. So
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with making your house your castle, but yeah, you got to make sure that you do experience all that is out there.
yeah, the only thing I'll say about the making your house your castle, which you do your best, you try to insulate your house from the outside influence, but just know that your house is sitting there in between the opposite polarities of the mess and all the confusion. At some point, you got to disconnect, which means you got to get out of that actual network and get yourself someplace else where you're now in a totally different thing. And, the pace is different. You feel different. You don't feel the influences that you normally do. So,
absolutely right. So that's it for today.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this podcast, make sure you let us know. You can get with us at 13 Floor Please on the social medias, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure you get the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. We on Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you're listening to your podcast. Make sure you check us out. Leave us a review, leave us a comment. You can check the website, the 13thfloorpodcast.com, and get the merch, get the merch, get the merch. MyCoolTshirts.com.
Hey, I got a T-shirt. I called it out in the sermon. I gotta get refreshed. We gotta call it out.
Let's run it.
I ain't gonna say it right now because somebody gonna steal and run it. We gonna
Somebody gonna
Exactly.
steal it. Man,
There it is.
thieves
Coach
out
K.
there stealing our stuff. My turn.
We on you, buddy. It's
Oh,
your turn.
nice.
Pass
I'm
the
gonna try to take my time.
Shout out to Faison real quick before you go. On my bad. Shout out to Faison for not being nice, but we know we gonna support brother through stuff. It's just another week without him, but he gonna be back next week. We're gonna keep on rocking.
You know,
All
I
right.
was happy to see that message from Faison, man. Not that we the atheists on the podcast or anything, but you know, when somebody like just throws themselves out there like that, and we don't normally hear from Faison in that manner. So he was, it was real vulnerable. So I appreciate you, brother, for letting us know what you were going through and what you need, and we here for you, man, and all of your
Man.
come to Jesus moment.
I blame my sister-in-law, man.
I was an influence.
'Cause she was here, and Art and EJ came over to the house, and I forget the name of the game we were playing. It's just like it's a game that like shows you like the hashtag, and you have to figure out what the saying is.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the topics is church.
Mm-hmm.
And every time the topic of church came up, Art was out. He was like, man, I don't know. And whenever it was his turn to go, he made sure that he avoided that one. And he left, but he was just like, man, I'm such a heathen. I don't even like. So I blame my sister-in-law planted that seed.
It's all good, man.
Nah,
I
he's
just
out there.
started getting back into the
right, man.
book.
We gonna
I'm
get
through
you.
the first 5
This man
chapters.
done downloaded every Kirk Franklin playlist.
You know what I'm
Butchering
saying?
himself like, yo, help me, please.
You know he over there, man, just walking around and stomp. You know.
No, he got the new one, man. Space Jam. We win. Him and
Yeah, Lil Baby.
one of them babies. Lil Baby.
Lil
I heard
Baby.
that the other day. I'm like, for real, is this little baby and Kirk Franklin? I'm
Hey,
like, wait, what?
yes.
I
Hey,
heard
that
that. I
joint
didn't stop
goes,
to
though.
listen to it. I just heard it in passing. So I'm gonna have
You
to go
gotta
back
listen
and
to that
figure out what's
joint.
going on.
That right there is the song that just made the curve for Lil Baby, where he is like, he's out of here now.
Yeah,
You doing
dog.
church songs?
He's
You
on a
doing
rocket
church
ship,
songs.
dog. It's
You
crazy.
know what I mean? Like, you're doing church songs? Okay. There it
Yeah.
is. Okay,
We ain't
take
gonna
us
take
home,
away too
dog.
much.
Take us home.
We stopped talking now.
Nah, man, that's good, man. I think it was good for the people to hear, man. The people want to hear what we got to say. Episode 196, Follow Your Gut. Episode 197, The Signs. It's all there, and we knew that something was happening coming out of COVID. We called it, we said it, and we're still, I think, going through struggles, accepting that there's a movement happening. And look, I'll use the podcast. For the most part, everybody on the podcast had some type of professional, I would say, movement during COVID. And what was funny is that right before everybody had that, everybody was at some point of, you know what, this is the time I need to start thinking about myself and prioritizing myself. And many of you go through that. You get to a point where you're ready to prioritize yourself, and then they pee-pee on you. That's right. I said it. They pee-pee on you. They hit you with position, or they hit you with promotion. And that totally throws you off of what you said you were going to do. And you end up convincing yourself and not following your gut. You end up convincing yourself that if I do this, this is going to put me in a better position to get to what I really want to do. But the truth is, if you'd have taken the energy that's going to take you to get that new position or that new promotion and put it towards promoting yourself towards what you really want, you'd be that much closer. And you might not need those people that are trying to influence you or that are making you go against your gut, that are making you choose somebody other than yourself, somebody other than your family. So as you listen to this podcast today, go back, because there's a lot of things. And if you didn't catch number 196, number 197 in this one, like those were powerhouse all together. Those three. As we go to 200, I'm excited because I'm just like, well, woof, 196, 197, 198 are some powerhouses. listen, we're on a journey. I welcome you all to continue to follow us. You want to share. I don't care if they don't go back and start at number 1. They can start at number 196 for all I care. And they're going to get so much out of these episodes that they're going to help us. And we want to help people build as we continue to build each other going into number 200 and beyond. So that's what I got for you this week. Back to you, Mr. Moderator.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're done here on the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
Amazing.
It's the 13th floor, y'all. It's the 13th floor, y'all.